entire city has been... That Newcastle United were in it. League goals.
Bilbao was special, Liverpool was fantastic last night.
It's going to live long in the memory. Barcelona lost it late in the semi-final last season. They're under early pressure here, the goalkeeper, Johan Garcia. And you know that they're going to come out the blocks as fast as they can. That's what the manager's demanded. And they'll appeal for off the bench to score a couple of goals at the weekend. They've got Gerard Martin over on that side. That's into Fermin Lopez, who's got the nod tonight over Dani Olmo. And now the dangerous Rafinha on the ball for the first time at St James's Park. Lopez with a shooting opportunity along the side. It's a fantastic middle two, isn't it, with Pedri alongside.
It really is.
Pressure on the goalkeeper, big pressure on the goalkeeper that almost paid off there for Newcastle. They're finding it so hard to get out.
I said to you last night, it just
outshot him a little bit, but he was brilliant. In goes Livramento, and now Lewandowski, and now Rafinha. Defended in there by Newcastle's captain Guimaraes. Here's the determined Tonali, but he runs there into Frankie de Jong. Kieran Trippier. Anthony Elanga. Building up the head of steam and delivering the cross! Oh, what a chance that was for Gordon! What a chance for Gordon! Elanga brilliant down the right.
Fantastic Elanga down the right-hand side. Even before that, Fletch, some beautiful football involving Trippier and Guimaraes. Released Elanga, goes on the outside, puts a brilliant ball across, and he doesn't make contact, Gordon. Chance gone.
But that's a real warning to Martin, the left-back, what Anthony Elanga could potentially bring for Newcastle tonight. That looked like a mismatch out there.
Do you know what I liked about it, Fletch? He went down the outside. You know, I thought, for all intents and purposes, he was going to drop his shoulder, come back onto his left. He's now got the full-back thinking, this fella's going both ways.
It's Marcus Rashford. Had a really good Champions League career at Manchester United, but he's not scored in the competition for 4 years. He's still waiting for his first. Newcastle have started well. Guimaraes to Joe Linton. Guimaraes through. Harvey Barnes in. Oh!
It's incredible. There's every chance at some point I'll have Conor Gallagher replacing Conor McGregor as I had last night.
Oh dear. Newcastle are aggressive at the start. They're on the front foot and they're taking the game to Barcelona.
Don't you go spoiling it.
Yeah.
I remember it as if it was yesterday, Fletch. I really do. What a hat-trick it was. And I suppose if we're going to sign off here as well, doing it with a hat-trick against Barcelona.
Absolutely. The fact they've got Tino Livramento at left-back tonight means it's Tino on Tyneside in the Champions League all over again. Here's Tonali.
And the interesting thing,
Newcastle's first win of the season on Saturday was timely, setting them up perfectly for tonight's challenge. Harvey Barnes, good cross, goalkeeper.
That's an area for somebody coming in at the back post. Lovely. Oh, Rashford, lovely.
And he's got space to run into now. Trippier looking to make up ground. He's got Rafinha and Lewandowski up there with him. It's Marcus Rashford. And he's made a mess of it right at the very end. And everybody who wants to be here.
The amount of ticket applications must have gone through the roof, Fletch.
It's very similar in many ways to the San Mamés on Tuesday night, where everybody was wearing a shirt, and everybody in here tonight has got black and white stripes of some description on. Joe Linton not quite able to get Barnes away. I think this might be the first time we've mentioned Pedri on the ball. And he picks out Rafinha with a nice pass. Koundé's gone running in ahead of him, but then he's stopped.
Eyes there when Rafinha went to 1v1 with him. Nobody wants to get caught in that situation. Livramento just gets slightly out of position.
There's the tactic. Bruno Guimaraes forward. Anthony Gordon's quick. Ronald Araujo won the header. I think they're very keen, aren't they, to get the likes of Elanga and Gordon in particular 1v1 against those defenders at the back with room to run into, because the Barcelona line defensively is always high, Ali.
Well, we've seen it on numerous occasions, haven't we?
Game continues with Lewandowski down. De Jong playing it forward here to Rafinha. What a striker he's been down the years. Third all-time in the Champions League behind Ronaldo and Messi. Rarefied air for a player who's been so good for so long.
Remarkable, Darren, absolutely remarkable quality to maintain it for that period of time as well.
Libramento's gone down and stayed down. He's holding his head as well, so Glenn Nyberg, the referee, knew all those years ago, and down the years they'll have been used to being high, some of them. That's a good little ball inside. It's Kieran Trippier, desperate for him to shoot. Here's Harvey Barnes. And the last touch corner, which is taken short to Gordon, back to Trippier, then they've gone low, and I'm a little bit surprised they've not that famous night. Short again.
This is the delivery.
So Trippier in this time, and the goalkeeper's...
I understand it. Ball gets played back and Trippier puts in a reasonable cross. I'll just try to change the angle also slightly.
I beg to differ that would have been your response back in the day. You'd have been saying, why is that not gone into the box?
Correct. If I was in there, you're absolutely correct.
This is Ronald Araujo, who didn't play at the weekend. He picks out Marcus Rashford there with a nice ball. De Jong. This is the teenager, the 18-year-old Pau Kubasi. Now the French international, Jules Koundé. It's quite rare you get a centre-back at 18 who plays all the big games that Barcelona has. He's approaching 100 for them already.
Yeah, it's remarkable really, isn't it?
He's already played 18 times in the Champions League as well. They trust him, he's a talented player. Frankie de Jong. This is Gerard Martin. Kubasi. Koundé spilling away from Livramento. Rafinha. Defending them there by Fabian Schär. Tonali just not quite able to get Anthony Gordon through.
He's unlucky there because he knows Kubasi's out of position, Dan.
That's an important challenge as well by Byrne because Rafinha had made a good run and there was plenty of pace on the pass. Frankie de Jong. Pau Kubasi. In a way, Ali, I think Newcastle are happy that Barcelona have the ball in situations like this because look at the space they've got. If it breaks down, going the other way for Gordon and Ilanga, that's what they're trying to set up, isn't it?
On the counter, absolutely. The pace they've got.
This is the first sustained spell of possession so far tonight for the Spaniards. And they find a pocket here to Fermin Lopez and then Rafinha, and that's in towards Lewandowski, who got there just in front of the keeper. And then Koundé, Newcastle. It's the trusty right boot of Trippier. And it's headed away by Araujo for Barcelona. That's a little bit of a soft header by Harvey Barnes, and Rashford was onto it, but that's quite brilliant. Free kick taken by Sandro Tonali, right down the throat of Dan Byrne, who for once is out-jumped there. That was good defending by Araujo. Interesting tussle there involving Tonali and Lewandowski, and the Newcastle midfielder won the battle. That's really good from him. Byrne there ahead of Rafinha. It's on by Livramento to Guimarães. Little touch then, nice and delicate to Sandro Tonali, and now Ilanga. Good defending on that side there by Martin. Certainly coped with the threat of Ilanga better on the second occasion.
He did well there.
Interesting method from Trippier.
But I like the fact that getting out the ball out to Ilanga as quickly as possible, giving him as much time to isolate Martin.
Lewandowski's header. Piece is picked up here by Rafinha. They're a bit slow to react there, Newcastle. Now Rashford. Rafinha. Composure from Joe Linton. He just about got away with it. One or two in the Gallagher were a little bit concerned, I think.
I call that over composure.
Here's Pedri, now De Jong. Kubasi. Marcus Rashford. Good defending by Kieran Trippier. It's a good ball as well to Guimaraes. Gordon's just trying to hold his line. Elanga's on though. Anthony Elanga stalling away. Harvey Barnes in the middle. It's Harvey Barnes coming onto it. Good save. Sweeping Newcastle move, and Harvey Barnes so close to making it 1-0.
Fantastic. That's fantastic football. The way he holds the ball and releases it at the right time for Elanga's magic. It really is.
Tonight, his first team debut for Leicester was in the Champions League, though off the bench against Porto. Here's Rafinha. Defended well at the far post by Fabian Schär. Rashford. Now the break might be on. Anthony Gordon's up and running if Livramento gets his head up. So he remembers the first leg in greater detail than you and I's DiMarco, the fullback of Inter Milan, who still wakes up in a cold sweat in his Lamine Yamal pyjamas.
What a pass that is!
Fantastic to Joel Linton. Elanga was trying to stay onside, but then he lacked. It's good defending by Schär. They're aggressive, aren't they, the two Newcastle centre-backs? Rashford to Pedri. Still only 22. He seems like he's been around in the Barcelona midfield for ages. De Jong being harassed there by Tonali. I mean, they love a Dutch midfielder in Barcelona, don't they? They have done down the years. Schär's playing Lewandowski really well in situations like that, Ali.
Really tight, not giving him any time at all.
Excellent headed by Burn. Given away though by Livramento. That was sloppy. Rafinha. That wasn't great either. Straight to Trippier, and then Bruno Guimaraes is going to put Anthony Elanga away. Kubasi's got to get across. Gordon's gone down in the middle. Elanga's cross. Barnes coming onto it. Koundé beats him to it. Elanga again. Bruno Guimaraes. Can Elanga pick somebody out? Gordon was the target, and it's cleared away as far as Livramento. Good Newcastle pressure approaching the half hour. In by Barnes, and the goalkeeper.
That's a question. I'd be surprised if he didn't.
Rashford at the other end for Barcelona. Trippier's winning the battle at the moment, though. Know each other from England, of course. He's made a good start defensively, Kieran Trippier. Pedri. De Jong. Rashford. Rafinha too high for him.
Game.
Don't mind a shootout, do they, this one? Excellent balance to get Koundé away. Lewandowski met firmly again by Schär, seemingly as good as ever. Clipped in by De Jong. Headed on by Araujo. And then away by Joel Linton. Here's Pedri. Araujo's down, so they're just playing with one short at the minute, Barcelona. Martin away from Elanga. Lewandowski. Now Pedri. De Jong. First time by Kubasi to Rashford. Rashford's seen a bit more of the ball on the left than Rafinha's had on the right in the opening 34 minutes. Quiet start to the game so far for Robert Lewandowski. Fermin Lopez tried the flick, he then gets the ball back. Here's Lewandowski with the first shot tonight. Fabian Schär with a good block. Here's De Jong. Rashford. Rafinha's made a run into the middle. Shares header. Lewandowski onto it with no direction. Now De Jong. Barcelona pressing. Slipped in towards Rafinha. That's an important clearance by Byrne. It breaks now for Lewandowski. Looking to make room. Livramento might have got a piece. Rafinha coming onto it. Barcelona. Been such a good player for them since signing from Leeds United. Seems to have grown in stature as a player in every way. Guimaraes ran into Pedri, loses out. Here's Lewandowski, who's up there on his own for now. Rashford's gone running through. Newcastle quickly with defenders the right side of things.
And they had to beat.
Frankie de Jong, Pedri. Jules Koundé. And away by Dan Byrne. Did we give Pedri enough credit there for that touch under pressure?
He's a terrific footballer, isn't he? Because Anthony Gordon was sniffing around him in the hope of a less than excellent touch, but excellent it was.
Played 59 games last season, Pedri, which was nobody played more than that in the top 5 European leagues. Rafinha, now Pedri. Seen plenty of the ball, Barcelona's number 8. Marcus Rashford. Pedri's had the most touches out there of any player so far tonight. You wouldn't be surprised by that. Fermin Lopez, Frankie de Jong. Marcus Rashford looking to tee up Kieran Trippier. Go the long way round. It's Fabian Schär with a great block for Newcastle. And then Livramento didn't quite run it out of it. I thought he did. Koundé's won it back from him anyway. Here's Fermin Lopez, Frankie de Jong. Barcelona pressure growing now towards the end of the half. Rafinha. Free kick. Too high. Into the Gallagher instead. No Guimaraes. Sandro Tonali out to Harvey Barnes. They tended to do most of their work down the right. Newcastle.
Joe Lint was a pass there. Oh, Joe Lint was on Fletch.
Koundé there with Byrne. If Ilanga can get the corner right. Garcia's come and dealt with it. Did well there, Garcia. Made his mind up early, and then Rashford with the clearance. Here's Trippier. Big men have stayed forward. Byrne helps it on. Schär leaves it. Whether he did it by choice, I'm not sure. Ilanga. Now Fabian Schär. Not the best of crosses. Headed away by Ronald Araujo.
Needs to beat the front man. Got to beat the first man there.
Flicked on then by Joel Linton, but he's offside, which is disappointing. Everybody's got one again.
I'm sure I saw you sporting one as well at some point.
Myth and rumour, Alistair. Here's Fermin Lopez for Barcelona. 3 minutes to go in the half, given away to Sandro Tonali. Joel Linton was helped up by the crowd. Here's Trippier, Ilanga up against Martin. He's got Gordon and Barnes in the middle. Now Joel Linton. That's a poor ball by Joel Linton. 2 or 3 times he's needed to show greater composure and accuracy. Gordon to take on Koundé. We're expecting 2 additional minutes at the end of this half. Might have been a little bit more. Martin and now Kubasi, De Jong, Pedri. So confident and So composed, Pedri. John Linton gets it to Guimaraes.
It's not like wearing them, but I think they should.
Up it goes to Byrne, who gets the chest behind the ball, but Barcelona get it away. Tonali forward. Koundé just a fraction sharper than Dan Byrne, but they love the pressure the big man puts on, but he might just have left his foot in. VAR, Jérôme Brissard had no interest. Half-time, it's Newcastle 0, Barcelona 0.
Arsenal might be the best defensively.
They made in the first one. They were very, very intense for the first 10 or 15 minutes.
They absolutely were. I think that would be the plan, and it certainly looks the way Gordon's going to close down there.
Absolutely. As Dan Byrne's header doesn't lack for aggression. Tino Livramento. Barnes across. Corner taken by Elanga. Byrne the target, flicked on and flicked wide by Joe Linton.
On the target, it's a goal, I think, Fletch.
He's got a couple of Champions League goals, Joe Linton. Newcastle attacking again with Barnes. That's a good block by Araujo. Livramento's got Koundé just hovering behind. Byrne stands his ground and flicks it on, and in the middle of all of it. Nice ball by Anthony Elanga to Sandro Tonali. Elanga's trying to hold his run, and he couldn't in the end.
9 times out of 10 sees the early pass, I think just delayed it ever so slightly. Elanga had to check his run. Chance gone.
Fermin Lopez for Barcelona. Pedri. Looks easy, doesn't it, for Pedri?
Lovely skills, isn't it?
Such an elegant player. Rafinha had it fizzed into him, but that didn't faze him. Here's de Jong. On it goes to Robert Lewandowski. Fermin Lopez had carried on running, that's great. Balls to Rashford though with a shot deflected. Good block by... So share off for now. So Newcastle down to 10. This is Pedri for Barcelona. Fermin Lopez with a flick towards Rashford that didn't come off. They've scored Barcelona in the last 40 games.
I saw that.
So you would suspect that.
Yeah.
There's a fair chance. They haven't had one on target tonight. 10 attempts, but none of them have troubled Mick Pope to this point. Share back on. There's Dan Byrne defending. Harvey Barnes. Joe Linton out to Livramento. Off it goes to Elanga, who's too quick for Martin, but there's nobody in there to cross it to. That was the issue. Joe Linton's arrived now. Guimaraes coming onto it, determined, away by Araujo. Trippier back to Joe Linton. Elanga teases one in. Koundé there. With the defensive header for Barcelona. Trippier. Delicately done to Guimaraes. And then Tonali! Straight at the goalkeeper. Kabasi on Gordon. Now Pedri, a little bit of acceleration, takes him away from Sandro Tonali, and he got it in behind Share, but Dan Byrne was across sharply.
Easily from a leak and done.
Certain players at the big clubs make the game look very easy. Pedri's one of them. He's so easy on the eye, isn't he? Never looks like he's under any kind of stress or pressure. Here's Rashford. Gerard Martin with the ball. Rashford gets back on it. That's not a very good Pau Kabasi. Gerard Martin hits it high. Trippier's had 2 or 3 goes at this. Bruno Guimaraes wins it back and clips an interesting ball in for Harvey Barnes. Now then, Anthony Gordon's in the middle. Joe Linton's trying to get forward as well. Barnes with a cross, defended by Koundé. Gets a second chance. Livramento. Barnes. Pace on the ball, burn the target. A little bit too high even for him. Elanga helps win it back. Here's Sandro Tonali. Bruno Guimaraes, good defended by Fermin Lopez and then by De Jong. Koundé. Here's the danger man, Rafinha. Two back for Newcastle. Burns across there with Livramento, and Burns lost his balance, and Rafinha's got to the byline. Frankie De Jong. Koundé. Rashford with the header, 1-0. And in front of the England manager, Marcus Rashford scores his first Barcelona goal. And his first goal in the Champions League since October 2020. The first English player to score for Barca in Europe since Gary Lineker in the Cup Winners' Cup back in 1989. And here he is on the ball again. Fermin Lopez with the shot on a corner, which Rashford takes at the Leazes end of St James's Park. There's Fermin Lopez, Marcus Rashford. Plenty of whip on the cross, which is cleared as far as Jules Koundé. Joe Linton, now Gordon. Goalkeeper was in a great position though, wasn't he, for that kind of situation?
Yeah, but it's not a good ball, Darren. It's got to go to the right back side of the Barcelona defence.
They look like two players, don't they? Pedri and De Jong, who can just keep the ball in midfield for as long as they want to. Referees had to stop the game. Yeah. So 4 changes all at the same time, with Newcastle a goal down here against Barcelona. Thiago, who's played in the Champions League semi-final during his time at AC Milan when they lost the Milan derby over 2 legs to Inter, so he's got experience in the competition. Anthony Gordon, who's out there in a more familiar position.
With his goal against Wolves.
It's far too close, Matt. He's got Voltemada to aim at. There's no real need to be that near to the goalkeeper.
No.
Koundé with a nice clip, and that's a brilliant first touch by Rafinha. Learned that one on the Copacabana.
Lovely.
Here's Koundé, little back heel, but that's well read by Livramento. Tidied up by Tonali, but quickly onto it, De Jong. In towards Lewandowski, the first defending for Thiago. Lopez to Pedri. Martin. Rashford. Barca scoring with their first attempt on target tonight. 13 attempts in total, but only 1 on target. The Marcus Rashford header. Pedri. Referee's not even looking. What's he doing?
Well, to be fair, he wasn't expecting a pass,
Well,
was he?
nobody was looking to the other side of the field. What's he doing? Dear me. He's only got one job, Ali. Here's Rashford. Flicked on over there by Willock. Gordon not quite able to get there. Burn against Lewandowski. Chow away. Headed forward by Araujo. On it goes by Rashford. Had that been directed better, he might have got Lewandowski in. Rashford's going to shoot. Oh, what a goal that is! What a goal! That went in like an absolute Rashford rocket. Top best tonight. They've not got Yamal. Lewandowski's lacking a bit of fitness because he's had injuries, but they've just got goals in them all over the place, haven't they?
Absolute quality throughout the team.
Newcastle have got to dig deep, and they've got to find a way to score the next goal in the match, which they're capable of. That's a lovely turn by Thiago. Here's Trippier. Awkward for Bruno Guimaraes, who got De Jong breathing down his neck. Between them with Tonali as well, they've done OK. Now they're Murphy. Hoists it in. Anthony Gordon's going to chase it. Can't keep it as goal. And Jeremy Doku against the 10 men of Napoli. Good play. Willock. Newcastle on the move. Needed to be a better pass, and they might well have got Murphy in, and now there's danger going the other way with Rafinha. Rafinha shoots.
What a switch from Rashford to create the opening. What a switch of play.
Thiaw's got all the twists and turns, hasn't he, back there?
Mind you only need to get caught once, but he's looked fairly comfortable there, hasn't he? Since he's come on.
It's Anthony Gordon. Boltemana's flick. Bruno Guimaraes with the shot.
Going again.
Excellent touch from Rashford. Confidence oozing through Marcus Rashford.
He's enjoying it now, isn't he?
Trippier's got back and did brilliantly.
Taking away the threat and the danger, and they've done that very well.
Going to see two more changes for Barcelona. Eric Garcia and Dani Olmo. In the meantime, here's Anthony Gordon, who shows too much of that to around. Danberg's headed it on. Now Bruno Guimaraes jumping. He's beaten by Araujo. Livramento, the best of crosses. Botman in there. Rashford's header. Here's Thiaw. Willock.
He's never going to get enough on it to go to the back post. So somebody forward thinking has to get across the defender.
De Jong's hardly put a foot wrong in there tonight.
Oh, neither's his pal.
No. I think it's fascinating because we saw that Paris Saint-Germain team win the Champions League last season with a very functional midfield
Correct.
three that was brilliant. They do it with two, don't they?
Yeah.
It's quite a job for the two of them to do that. Just don't give the ball away, and they set the tempo superbly.
I know, it makes you wonder. That'd be a great game. Get my head on myself, but that would be a great game. You just wonder if the extra player in the middle of the park for PSG would make the difference.
Or would the extra attacker
we'll
make the difference for Barcelona?
Yeah, exactly.
Substitutes wait. Here's Martin, now Rashford. Rashford dispossessed by Murphy. Guimaraes. Gordon. Now Livramento. Koundé read it well. They'll play the advantage here with Rafinha. Frankie de Jong, Pedri. Moving towards the final 10 minutes, the two Rashford goals separating the teams at St James's Park. That's lifted through towards Ferran Torres, who takes it well, Torres, and went down under the...
He does well, Torres. He tries to take it to his chest and cut across the defender. And to a certain degree he does it, but I don't think it's a pen.
Koundé's winning that battle with Gordon on that side at the moment. Now Rashford's just gone down, having... So confirmation of Martin and Rashford for Garcia and Olmo. And we've got 8.5 minutes left plus stoppage time at St James's Park. Barcelona have won 11 of their last 16 Champions League games against English sides, and they get more than 2 goals a game in general. Spanioli's Olympic gold medalist back in 2024. Pedri's header just not quite working for Newcastle at the moment. Hoisted up by Guimaraes. Garcia's header not the best. Here's Thiaw. Murphy. Got the nutmeg, I think, in the end on Pedri. Intercepted, though, by Dani Olmo. Goes Fermin Lopez, took it brilliantly, backheel then towards Ferran Torres. Willock was there for Newcastle.
I'm going to tell you something. If he'd have looked up and saw where Nick Pope was, he just needed to take a touch and chip him. Nick Pope, I think, was 18, could have been 20, he might have been outside the box.
away by Byrne, on by Sandro Tonali, only to Koundé, de Jong. Olmo. Pedri. Say, Ali, this is not a result yet, but there's been a bit of muscle flexing this week by the favourites for the competition.
Yeah.
PSG impressive winners, Arsenal with a big win away,
Liverpool.
Bayern Munich beating Chelsea, Liverpool winning last night. One or two early statements made by the teams that we think are going to be there at the end, and you can't underestimate this tonight in Barcelona.
No.
Teams you're looking at, if you look from the top of the odds, the teams that have been impressing us this week. Olmo with a ball to pick out Rafinha, whose touch never seems to let him down. Here is Rafinha, one of the quieter nights I've seen him have for Barcelona.
Yeah, but he still does things that you and I just look at each other and smile.
Yeah. It's lovely football to keep it from Barcelona. Four minutes to play. This is Pedri for Barcelona. Ferran Torres running to Sven Botman. Rafinha only to Sandro Tonali. Livramento. Newcastle on the move with Anthony Gordon. Time running out for them. Willock. Gordon's made the run. Willock's come back the other way and then run into trouble.
Yeah, he's got to release him, hasn't he? This could be trouble, you know. This could be trouble.
Fermin Lopez leading the Barcelona charge with options all around him. Here's Rafinha. Little nutmeg in the shot. Fermin Lopez wide. Right shot for Sandro Tonali and then Voltemada. Now here's Murphy. Promising this. That's a good ball! They're back in it! Anthony Gordon at the Gallagher end with seconds remaining plus stoppage time. Again, Ali, make sure you're holding tight to something. Because it's going to erupt in here. Pedri. Excellent from Pedri. Rafinha. Koundé, de Jong, Pedri, Araujo, Livramento, roared on by the Newcastle crowd, lifted forward to Gordon. Given away by Gordon, but in goes Livramento to win it back. Excellent from him. Newcastle need to be composed. Koundé with the challenge. Tonali.
They've got men over at the back post area here as well.
Yeah, they've got Gordon. There's 3 minutes of additional time to play.
10 seconds or so.
Absolutely. Really enjoyed watching Pedri tonight and de Jong.
Oh, the two of them.
Fantastic.
Wonderful exhibition done.
Put forward by Garcia. Newcastle wanted the free kick, but they don't get it. Sandro Tonali's down. Here's Rafinha. Ferran Torres in the middle. Pulled back here. There's the good chance, but Dani Olmo. That's a brilliant save from both. Strong they are in an attacking sense, Barcelona, when Dani Olmo can't get a game. Koundé. Time running out for Newcastle. They've got to get the ball. Barcelona don't want to give it to them. Christensen. De Jong. Rafinha. Supporters doing their bit. Ferran Torres by Glenn Nyberg. Pedri back to Rafinha, that looked easy. Rafinha's finished, which gives Newcastle the chance. That's a yellow for Cassar. Kamada behind. In it goes from Livramento. Byrne gets something on it. It's in by Tonali. Oh,
he just keeps it down.
For Barcelona, full time at St James's Park. Newcastle United 1, Barcelona 2.
Yeah.